Hi, Ann Cornick from Paintnporcelain. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and to recruit experienced painters to paint along with me. And today we're going to work on the last part of our, the second fire on our poinsettias. And I learned something from doing the poinsettias. This is my current first fire, and I like this, and I love the colors in this, especially up in here. And I want to keep these colors. So I worked all week to try to come up with a method that would do that. And I think I've come up with one. For the warm colors, you can use blood red as the deepest part for the shading. You know, like where the leaves tuck under each other right here. Like this leaf tucks under here, and this leaf tucks under here. And then for the cool colors, you use, guess what? Blue-black. And I think that will give you enough variety in the colors that'll really look nice. Light red would be a yellow red. Dark red is a blood red for me. You'll need a light green and a dark green. And I use chartreuse and moss, but you can use, you know, like I said, the reason I'm saying light and dark is just so you can use whatever you want to use. I also added like a red grape and a flesh because I had them and they were kind of cool, but pink will work. And then you need at least three colors, three different values of purple. You need a light purple, like a heliotrope, or you can just add white to whatever regular purple you have. A medium, which is for me a violet, and then you need a dark purple, which is a royal violet. So those are the colors that we're using today. And now I will angle you down so you can see what we're doing. Alrighty, I'm going to start out by using my new favorite brush, which is, let's see, whose is this? This is a Barbara Ramsey Snow. I'm going to do the same one I did last time. We're also going to be using a sponge. This is the one that Candy sent me. And I love this. For this type of application, it's perfect. So we're going to use a sponge on the background. I'm going to check my brush, make sure it's clean, add some oil to it. I'm using, if anybody cares, I'm using medium plus. I'm going to get my blood red, and I'm just going to start with the center flower. Make sure if it's too dark, stop and test it on your, pat it on your towel. You don't want it to be too dark. You want to make sure that you have not too much red on there. I've learned that the hard way. Here, this one is a little bit under the top, this one, so I'm just going to come down the side here and then do there. Okay, you have to reload frequently when you're using this much color. There, and I'm going to come up the side here because this one's on top. Okay, and then here, oh, there we go. I'm going to put the blood red, trying to get a little more, there we go, there, going from the outside edge to the inside edge to the middle, and then from the middle to the far end. I'm doing that on all of them. I figured it's just easier. And then I'm using a little bit of the red here. And there. Alrighty. And I'm going to come out and do the very edges here, if they need it. Not all of them need it. I'm just doing the ones that do. Trying to keep it lighter than I normally do because, like I said, I learned the hard way on this, that by doing too dark with too much red, it really did a disservice, I think, to my poinsettias. And the color that I worked so hard to get on here sort of disappeared. So if that's a problem that you're having, just use your reds sparingly. You can always add more color. It's hard to take it off. So, okay, got the center done there. Now, I'm going to go around the outside. These are the medium leaves, you know, the ones between the middle leaves. They're from Not the middle, but the closest to the center, but right in between that and the edge. And this is where I'm going to use my rule. If it's a cool color like a purple, a blue, or a green, or yeah, I'm going to use the blue-black as my shading. So I'll show you that first. Let's do that first. Oops. Okay. Get that off there. Okay. So I'm going to side load with my blue-black. And here and here, this is a blue leaf. This is a purple leaf. You decide which leaf is on top. This one's on top. So I'm going to start with the one that's at the bottom, and I'm going to just put the blue-black on the bottom and shade it so that it's under the other leaves. And because that's purple, I'm going to stop there because I'm going to finish it out with the purple. If that makes sense to people, it should. Because if it's purple, we want it to stay purple. Okay. And then this is a baby blue. So I'm going to load my brush again with side load with the blue-black. And I'm going to do here down the side because this is behind. This one's on top, this one's behind. But I'm not going to do as much on this side because that one, we want it to be on top. So I'll do it at the base, but I'm not going to go up the side. Let me make that just a tad darker. You see, it's not quite as dark, and the reason it's not quite as dark is because it's over blue. This one's over purple. Now there's another purple one back here. I'm going to take my blue-black, and I'm just going to go in and dab it on my towel because it was a little dark. This brush is shedding like mad. There's not going to be anything left on my favorite brush in a minute. All the little things are going to come off. I need a little more color there. It's funny, I finished this and I found that I did the best job on the one that I did with you guys. And I think it's because I spend so much time analyzing it while I'm talking to you. This one has a little blue in it. These two are green, so they're going to have blue. I'm going to need a bigger brush. See how I only covered a short distance there with the brush? It means that if I wanted to come up, I really wanted to come up to about here with the color. Right up to about here with the color. And because I couldn't, it means my brush is just too small. So I'm going to go back in with my number 10 now and try that for these. There we go. See how much better that goes up into the, I wanted it to go further up into that leaf. But the key is to get the color down here so that they look like they're behind each other. Into the middle of that poinsettia. And then turn it, because you always want to paint towards yourself. And you're going to go boom, 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 like this here. Just real lightly. That's the blue. We're still using the blue-black. I'm going to do the same thing here. Oh. Need a little more color. Oh, not that much. It's a tightrope. You're trying not to take color off, but you're trying to put depth on, and it's always a tightrope. Now, this leaf here comes up into that green leaf. The green leaf is behind it. So I'm going to put a little blue-black back there. And I'm going to turn it and put a little blue-black up in here. Yep. And I'll get the rest with green. But see how that puts, this leaf is definitely on top. Okay, and then we're over here now to the green. We're going to take the blue, black, and we're going to come down, oh, a little heavy there. We're going to come down this side. Now I need a little oil. You can't win, I'll tell you. It's either too much oil or too much paint. Too little oil or too much paint. Going to come down this side now. If you get the mix right, it's real nice to work with. And then I'm going to come over this side. Now, this is a good example. This leaf here, if you want to, you can cut into it a little bit. Give it a little character. Not a problem. If you want to just take some color and cut into it, see how I did there? It'll give you a little bit of oomph. And I'm looking and I just think I need a little more. I'm sure it's going to be too heavy. A little blue right here. Okay. All right. Cleaning my brush really, really well. What do we think so far? You see how the shading is working? Now we're going to go into the blood. If the blood is too much for you, you can use Persian, and I think it'll work just about as well if you think the blood is too dark. I'm going to do this guy here. I'm going to do a little of this guy over here. Actually, this is Persian I just put on there. I think I like the Persian better. It's not quite as, okay, so here's, okay, without changing my brush, here's the blood. It's a little dark. I'm pulling it out a little. And I'll pull it back the other way a little bit so you can see it. This is the blood red. Now I'll clean my brush and I'll do it with Persian and you'll see the difference. It might be that Persian red would be a better match. And then I'm going to take the Persian red and I'll do it here. Let's do it here. Come down this way. I'm just going to pull a little off of there. The thing I find with the Persian though is if you want to correct, like here I would like to correct that area. I have a little white right there and I really don't want the white right there. I can't do that unless I use blood. There we go. That's the blood red. Let me try another for Persian. This one has Persian on it. This one has blood. This one has blood. Persian has a little more yellow in it. Let's do some Persian up in here. I'm going to, oh, that's yellow red. And let's take some Persian and just put it on the edge here. Oops. There we go. Okay. Now you wonder, well, what about these other colors that we have? This is flesh. So I'm going to put a little bit of Persian there. Where did I say that? Here, I think. Okay, and here, this one's flesh. And I'm just putting a tad, because this side, this needs to be up on top. So this guy, he's over this one, but he's under this one here. Okay? Yeah, this is turning out much better than the other one I think did. Oh, you know what? I missed this guy. He's a purple. Let's get a little blue there. Let me put a little blue right in here. Yep. Okay. Now I've only done half these leaves, so if they look bottom heavy, that's why. And then with these guys, this is a pink, or that's a red grape, I think. I'm going to take a little red grape because I have it. If not, I would say maybe take a little bit of Persian. But I have a little red grape, so I'm just going to tuck it in with the red grape. Okay. Okay, so now most of these have color. I'm just looking on the monitor. The only one that doesn't seem to have a lot of color is this one, but it really does. So now we're going to clean it out. And I think I've kept more of my color in my leaves this way and in my petals. I'm going to start with, let's start with the purple. I think it'll be the most dramatic. And test it a little. Okay, so this is purple here. I'm just going to come out with the purple. This is purple here. And I think this one here is purple, and I'm going to do that one. Oh, the end of it needs to be a little darker. There we go. Okay, those are my purples. Now let's do our blues. I've got one blue. Going back into my baby blue. And I'm just going to put some baby blue. Oh, baby blue up there. Just wash it a little bit. Wash is when you just take the color and put it over the whole thing. You don't really take into account that there might be some need to have some, what do you call it, highlights. I'm going to bring a little down this side here. Okay. What the heck? Okay. Let's do greens. Now you don't have to clean your brush in between each one. So now I'm taking pink and I'm just washing the pink. Washing means you're just putting the color over, like this. I'm using, this is a new soft pink, and I really like the new soft pink. I'm going to do a little here. It's kind of like the stained glass we did. On the second coat, if you put a little bit of a lighter color on, it will give you, the darker color will really show up underneath. It's kind of like that, like when we did the stained glass, I think. I think this sort of built on that stained glass, because now I'm going to take chartreuse, and I'm going to go up here and use chartreuse. I've got glare from the light. Here, let me just, and I'm going to put a little over here. And I'm going to put a little over here. Okay, now I know I need a darker color to separate these guys here somehow. So I'm going to go back into my blue black and just do a little darker right here. Okay, that's what I have so far. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the reds. The reds don't need too much. This, I think, is a pink. You know, when you fire them, sometimes they all look alike. But I think that's more of a pink. So I'm just going to take my new soft pink and go over it. Yep, I think that's more of a pink. And then I'm just going to, without cleaning my brush, go into the Persian and do a little Persian here. Oh. It's kind of dark, we'll see. Yep, way too dark. I'm going to do a little Persian here, a little Persian here. Maybe a little Persian on the end of this guy right here. It probably was originally flesh, but we lost it, so I'm going to put a little Persian right here because I just like the idea of the different colors together. Can you see that? Where I did the little bit of Persian on the blue. And I might do just a tad on this purple here because it's kind of, this brush is shutting now. Must be me. I just put a little on the edge. You don't have to do more than that. And then I do need to put a little on the edges of these because we really, We really didn't define the edges of these, so I'm just pulling them out a little bit there. Okay, now the center section we're going to do. Well, before we do the center section, I took and I cleaned off my brush. Oh, you know what? It needs a little more blue here. A little more depth. Right here. Ah! Ah! There. Okay, so now I'm going to take, cleaned off my brush really well. And I'm just going to go, and this is going to be a little weird, but I think it works. I'm going to go and cut out. See what I'm doing? I'm just taking the edge of my brush, the very tip of my brush, and I'm just pulling out the color on one side a little bit. Not a lot. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the next level up. And they may not need it, but they may need it. And it'll make them a little more, it'll put your highlight back in. See that? Right there? Right there? That reappeared when I did this. Now I'm going from the bottom up. Oops, that didn't work. There, bottom up, okay. Here I'm going to do bottom up. Clean my brush again because I've got paint on it. I'm just pulling out. If you do it quickly, you almost get back a little bit of the highlight you may have lost. Okay, now we're going to do the center section. I'm going to get my number. This is my number 2. And this is the Jane Houston brush. What color do you think I'm going to use? Big surprise, blue black. I'm just going to take blue black because it's a green, so it's a cool color. And I'm going to start, I need a little more blue black. Start going around, and I'm going to come up real close so you can see. Each one of those little berries. And I'm going to fill it in between them. You're going to need a lot of color for this. Now you can suggest it. If it doesn't come out perfect, you can suggest it. As you do them, your brush will hit other places and you'll go, oh, I think I'll put a berry there. You can do that too. Like I just did there. Okay? So the first time we just put in the green. But that's because we were going to create these berries, and I just thought this is the easiest way I know to create berries, is just blue black around them so they stand out. A little blue black right there. Okay, so those are my berries. Ta-da! And then the last thing we have to do on these guys, where's my brush? Here it is. I'm going to use my liner. Now I know last time I tapped, but you see not all my taps came through in the firing. And I want to make sure that they're there. So I'm going to do blue, black on the, on the ones that are, so I'm coming up real close so you can see hopefully what I'm doing here. Oops. I need a dry brush. Here we go. I'm going to have to push this guy back. He's just too pronounced. So is this. There we go. I'm going to have to get my blue black just right, I guess. There we go. You want it a little bit, not runny because it'll just smear, but you want it a little bit more than what you would normally do. I have to do this backhand, and I know it's probably going to get in the way, but that one's pretty good. This one probably should have been with the red here, but I'll do it with the blue there. And this one needs it. See down here, I don't have any little side guys, so put side veins in. Pull, lift, pull, lift. Ah, more oil. Oh, that's too oily. There we go. Pull, lift. Pull, lift. And right here, I could probably use one or two more there. Okay. Oh, here we need one. Okay. Come on, cooperate with me. You may have to use a different one. This is my really fine. I got this one from Mary Ashcroft, and it's a nice little liner. But I have to tell you, I think my scroller is probably better for this. So now I'm going to do the dark ones, the ones that were the warm colors. We're going to do those in the red. I'm using Persian. I just think the Persian probably will lend itself better. You don't need to do them all. Like this guy's got some. This guy doesn't have but one, so let's put another one in there like that on that side. This guy has them. These little guys could use a couple. Don't overdo the little thing, you know, just decide where you could put a couple of them and be done. Okay, that's what I did. So the final thing is the background, because you're going to go around and do all of these the same way and really get the color in there. If you find you're losing the edges of these, you could take a pen with a little bit of color on and just maybe use the pen to sort of outline lightly the edge, or use a scroller. I'll show you how that would look. Here's the royal blue. I'm going to do it right here on the purple. Okay, so I'm just gonna, you can hardly see it, and maybe on the blue next to it, I'm just gonna okay, but that would be after you do your background. Now we're gonna go to the 3/4 inch, clean it off. Boy, you know when you're getting old, when your brushes start shedding, I'm like crazy. You can tell how long I've had these brushes because they're not holding up as well as they used to. Okay, blue-black. Why? Because I love it. I'm going to start with blue-black down here. Oh, too dark. But it doesn't hurt to put it in a little dark. Try to go around the edges of these guys down here, because as close as you can. And if it's a little bit dark, you're going to pounce with your sponge to make sure that this is nice and you know, smooth. So if it's a little dark, the sponge will take that off for you. I'll show you here. I purposely did this a little dark and choppy. See how choppy it is? When we use this sponge, you'll see how it works. Okay, now I'm going into what would be my baby blue, and I'm just adding it here. I'm mixing it. I did not clean my brush because I want my background to be kind of ethereal. So you want to make sure that you don't clean your brush too much. But pull that color in behind these poinsettias, even though they're painted. Pull the color in behind them. You want it right behind each one of these, because otherwise you're gonna have these obvious areas that are missing color. So you want to get the color everywhere, but just go up to the poinsettia leaf, try not to go over your poinsettia leaf. Oh, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, I guess you can. I'm trying not to go too dark with this. And then the last thing, I'm not changing, not cleaning my brush. I'm going right into the purple. I'm going to put the purple up here. I love the purple. I'm not much of a purple person, but on this plate, I really like it. Okay. If I were smart, I probably would have put more pink and blue petals up this way and not put as many purple petals up that way of my poinsettia so that they contrasted against the purple, but I didn't think that far ahead. Okay, so I'm not going to do much more than this, just so you can get an idea. Okay. Oh, that's way too dark, I can tell. Yep, there. Okay, now I think what I've done is I succeeded in keeping the background light, but remember I left this patch here so you could see what would happen. Here's my pouncer. Now I'm pouncing very lightly, but I'm pouncing, okay? So that's another reason why I didn't want to have it all painted, because I have to hold it up, but I can hold it real firmly because I didn't paint part of it. But when you're doing this, pounce on the table because you don't want to mess your piece up. I think you'll see that this is going to look okay. So I got it. Now here, see what happened there? Can you see it's like a little bit light? Just take your dark, throw it on, repounce. Pounce a little lighter this time. Think of it as wet paint. You don't pounce heavy over wet paint. The thing you might want to do, this is something that was a hangover from Lynn Brewer, is take a dark color. In this case, I'll use my blue, black, and just go in with a liner or something pointy, whatever you have that works. And maybe just refine where these are behind the other. Go in and pull out quickly. In fact, this is too thick. I guess a liner will do. Let's try the liner. Okay, let's try the liner here. Here's where I was. Okay. Go in, pull out. Yeah. You do this also on like a wild rose occasionally. And it'll just help give you a little more definition. And you can go through and do it a lot of different places. So that's what I did. And then I would take the red and do the same thing on the areas that need it. So that's what I've done for this time. So let's see how it compares. I'm going to bring you up. See, this is this time. I think we've got a lot of great colors in that. This was my final from last time. See, I just got muddy and I got like too much red and too much of everything, too much blue. You can see here, oh, here, too much blue in there, too much red. Look at the difference. Yeah. I think this one's going to be much nicer than this one was. But I'm going to keep this one to teach myself not to go so dark. Okay, then pick up those brushes, keep painting, and I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.